play-by-play, Jim Simpson.
Thank you, Ralph Conner. Wayne Garrett to step in, hitting .256 for the regular season. Good power, 16 home runs, 58 RBIs. He is a left-hander, facing the left-hander Ken Holtzman, who this year won 21 ball games, lost 13, fine earned run average of 2.97. Anytime you climb under the 3 mark, that's a pretty good earned run average. First pitch of the 1973 World Series is a fastball, fouled off. Back comes Fossey after it gets into the stands. By the way, as Ralph described the field to you, we would also like to add that there's a lot of room down the right and left field lines to catch foul balls. The stands are well back in those areas. A lot of balls that in other ballparks would make it to the seats will not here and can be caught. Garrett, with a count of 1 strike, takes another fastball down low. 1 ball, 1 strike to Garrett. On deck is Felix Millan. Marty Springstead of the American League behind home plate. Great thrill for him. His first World Series ever. Holtzman right back, fouled off again. A matter of fact, Jerry Newdecker of the American League and Russ Getz of the American League, the 3 American League umpires, are all in their first World Series. Harry Wendelstedt of the National League in his first. Paul Fryer is in his second, and the veteran is Augie Donatelli. This is his 5th. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Garrett, leadoff man in the first game of the World Series. Garrett pops it up, foul, left side, Bando over, first out. Garrett is down, and Millan, a .290 hitter with a Mets record of 185 base hits, will step up. By the way, you'll pick up the cadence for as long as Holtzman is in there. Ralph and I will hardly have a breath between pitches. Holtzman is not as fast in delivering as Bob Gibson, meaning between pitches. But Kenny likes to throw the ball. Sometimes Fossey doesn't even get set, and the ball is on its way. Millan, who chokes up a great deal, makes great contact with the bat. Looks as if to bunt, takes the slider, down low, it's ball 1. Mando at third base, right at the edge of the grass. By the way, this is an all-grass World Series, here and in New York. Ground ball toward the second baseman, Green. Up with it, going to his right, tosses on and has Millan by 20. And that will bring up Willie Mays. Mays came on as a pinch hitter in the 5th game for Ed Greenpool and bounced the ball right at home plate, went high in the air, and I'm the pitcher for Cincinnati, came down with it. Mays was across first, and a runner was across from third base. An RBI single. Holtzman, as Ralph told you, 4.9 lifetime against the Mets with a 4.21 earned run average, but this is his second year in the American League. Drive down the right field line, but it's foul and is almost caught by a spectator in the front row of the stand. Holtzman, a great control pitcher. 2 walks per 9 innings this year. Last year, he was a little bit under that. A couple of no-hitters, 1969 against the Atlanta Braves, and then 71 against Cincinnati. 2 good hitting ball clubs. 2 outs. 1 strike. The count to Mays, and this one is another foul ball down the right side. Off the fists of Mays. Tennis at first base gave chase. Couldn't get to it.
Jim, that really is an amazing record. In 297 innings in the regular season, he walked only 66 batters, struck out 157.
And won 21 ball games. First, Green at second, Campaneris the shortstop, Bando at third, Rudy in left, Jackson in center today, with Jesus Alou over in right to get his right-handed hot bat in the lineup. Pitch is right back, fastball up high. It's 1 ball, 2 strikes to Willie Mays, who broke in 1951 as the Rookie of the Year, was a member of that miracle New York Giant team. Remember the Bobby Thompson home run? And now in his final year, 1973, he is closing out in a World Series. Quite a career. Blown away to Mays. Some of the fans thought that might have ticked the corner of the plate. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Fido Blue and Jerry Kuzman, tomorrow's pitchers. Today's pitchers, Ken Holtzman and John Matlock. Fastball in under the hands. Mays did not go around. Now they appeal the play, and Marty Springstead looks down to Augie Donatelli at first base. The American National League's cooperating for the World Series. Donatelli said he did not go around. 3-2. Really, as you would suspect, 42 loves to play in pressure games. When you're 42, you need something to get the juices flowing again. I can tell. There's a ground ball under the glove of Bando. Mays makes the wide turn at first base, losing his hat, slipping, sliding, falling down, and gets back to first base. Willie Mays picks up the first base hit of the 73 World Series. Rusty stop, on the bench, still nursing that right shoulder. Could play tomorrow, may play tomorrow. Cleon Jones, 260 hitter during the regular season. In the playoffs, Cleon had 3 RBIs and hit 300. Right-handed batter. Jones had 11 home runs, but, well, if you can verify this or say that I'm wrong, more known as a line drive hitter and hits to all field.
He is a straightaway hitter. He did have 6 home runs in his last 10 games of the regular season, drove in 14 runs.
Strike at the knees from Ken Holtzman. Willie Mays on at first base. 2 down in the top of the first, no score. The Oakland Coliseum is not filled. Many the upper deck down right and left field lines. Ground ball right back to Holtzman. He'll toss on the first base, and they're out of it. No runs, 1 hit, no errors. 1 left. We go to the last of the first inning with no score.
Half inning going by the boards, and the Mets coming up with 1 base hit off Holtzman. It was a single to left field by Willie Mays. And now it's the Oakland Ball Club against John Matlack, and once again, here's Jim Simpson.
Ralph, Matlack 14-16, had that 2-hit shutout last Sunday, but you watched him through his entire career. What kind of pitcher is he?
John is an excellent pitcher. He has outstanding poise. He's very intelligent. He has a fine fastball. He's rated up there with all the hard-throwing left-handers, and he has a good curveball.
Nancy Campaneris, 250 on the year, 4 home runs, but he has had 2 home runs in the recent playoff games against Baltimore, one of which won a ball game. Stole 34 bases, 6 of the last 7 years. Before this year, he was the stolen base leader. Lost that title, but he has been an invaluable man for the Oakland Athletics in the field, and if you're going to beat the Oakland Athletics, one way to do it is keep this man off the bases. He bats right-handed. John Matlack, big, tall, 6'3", 200-pound left-hander, throws the first pitch, and it looks like it's sliding. So strike 1. Garrett at third base, in on the edge of the grass, guarding against the bunt of the slow number. Matlack right back, throws, takes something off this, foul off, picked up in the on-deck circle by Joe Rudy, the number 2 batter. Milner at first, Mion at second. Harrelson is the shortstop. Garrett at third. Cleon Jones out in left. Willie Mays in center field. Don Hahn in right. Jerry Grody flashing the signals to John Matlack with a count of 2 strikes to Campy Campaneris. Back with a fastball. Hit out to short left center field. Willie Mays circles under it, but Mion backs up and takes it. The ball really died. It went straight up in the air nearly. Campaneris is an easy out. Joe Rudy. Rudy hit 270, but Joe had all kinds of intestinal problems. Viral this year, and in the early part of the season was not hitting at all. He has come on very strong. 12 home runs, 66 RBIs, and planted firmly in my mind is the picture of Joe Rudy climbing that left field wall in Cincinnati a year ago to make a spectacular catch. The outstanding defensive play of the 1972 World Series. Close stat, Matlack throws, breaking ball, strike 1. We're in the last of the first, 1 out. There is no score. Another game here tomorrow, as Ralph told you, 4:45 Eastern Time, our broadcast time, and then Monday's a travel day, and then we open up with 3 straight night games, if necessary for all 3, at Shea Stadium at 8 o'clock Eastern Time. Back again with a breaking ball inside. 1 ball, 1 strike to Joe Rudy. Paul Pryor, the third baseman, in his third base umpire, in his second World Series appearance, was recalling a story to me about his first one that I'll give you in a moment. Matlack looking for the sign is going down the drain. Here's the pitch. Line drive. Caught by Harrelson. Scotty Harrelson racing back at second base. And as they say, you can see a little the white showing. He just did get at the tip of his glove.
So, one thing about Bud Harrelson, he's not too well known outside of New York. Of course, it's pretty good to be known in New York. He is one of the most outstanding defensive ball players I have ever seen in this game. He has great range, and it was shown right there as he went on that looping liner out in on the outfield grass.
Here is Sal Bando, 288 during the regular season, 29 home runs and 97 RBIs, and that's ball 1. The Pryor story very quickly. He was to umpire behind the plate in the 6th game up in Boston. His clothes didn't arrive, and he was the biggest man, so he's wearing Umont's pants, which were too small, someone else's shoes, which were too small. Ground ball foul. A hat that wasn't his, it sat right on the top of his head, and he said, there I am, my first World Series, umpiring behind home plate for the first time. And he said, I look like something out of the grab bag. But now he's got all his clothes and umpiring down at third base. Bando improved his average 52 points from last season to this season and led the team in hits, 170. 1 ball, 1 strike. Pitched on a changeup. Sends Leon Jones back near the warning track in left field for the third out. No runs, no hits, no errors, none left. At the end of the first inning of the first game of the 1973 World Series, there is no score.
We're going now to the top of the second inning. No score in the ball game on a beautiful day for baseball here in Oakland. And once again, here's Jim Simpson.
John Milner will lead it off, and let us lead off by giving you a correction for tomorrow's start time on our broadcast. The game is 1:30 Pacific time, so we'll be on the air at 4:15 tomorrow Eastern time. 4:15, not 4:45. Milner, 239, 23 home runs, an all-time Mets club home run record, breaking his own set last year of 17, 72 RBIs. Hit 176 during the playoffs. Thin-looking first baseman who generates a lot of power, and that backs him out of there. The first pitch from Holtzman in under the hand.
They call him the Hammer, and his idol is Hank Aaron. They came from the same area down south, and he has always idolized Hank.
1 ball, no strikes. Holtzman, the quick worker, comes back with the fastball. That's looped down the left field line and curved just foul. Oakland fans give it the U and R. We'll repeat again that we do not have a sellout here in Oakland by any means. And I'm just wondering what it's going to be like tomorrow afternoon. Hope we get a sellout then, and I know what it's going to be like when they get back to New York. That place will be rocking. Milner to be followed by Grody here in the top of the second. Absolutely gorgeous day in Northern California. Temperature about 70. A little hazy, but the sun in the stadium very bright. Fastball, center field. Jackson was over in right center, comes over to left center, pats his glove, and has it for the first out of the New York Eight. Milner didn't get all the way around on that ball. Hit it slightly to the opposite field, and that'll bring up Jerry Grody, hitting at 256, 1 home run, 32 RBI. Grody, from August 3rd on, finished in a hurry, hitting 303 from August 3rd until the end of the season, early October. Right-handed batter, fine defensive catcher. Holtzman ready. Throws the first pitch outside, ball 1. Grody made a couple of plays in the series, the playoff championships against the Cincinnati Reds, that were not outstanding plays that would stand out in your mind, but there were the little things that a catcher does very well. A very complete catcher. Fastball down low. 2-0. For example, he held onto a foul tip off the bat of Johnny Bench with men on base. Blocked the ball very well, kept it in front of him. 2-0 with men on base. Down ball to the right side. Green goes over, picks it up, now throws sidearm on to Tennis, and there's 2 out. Well, we have had 1 base runner so far in this first game of the 73 series, and that has been 42-year-old Willie Mays, who broke in playing in the series 22 years ago and finishes his active career playing in the World Series in 1973. Don Hahn, 229 on the regular season, 2 home runs, 21 RBIs, has a lot of speed, right-handed batter, closed stance, hit 211, played the whole way in the playoff championship. 2-out pitch, swung on, foul tip, strike 1. Well, in another inning, half inning or so, Kenny Holtzman is going to get only his second chance to bat in the 1973 season. He did bat once during the regular season. Foul tipped again, hung on to by Fossey the catcher, and it's strike 2. The one time that Ken Holtzman batted, he drew a walk. And wouldn't you know it, the one time the complete man, Catfish Hunter, was a good fielding pitcher, a good pitcher, and a good hitter. The one time he batted, he singled sharply. 2-strike pitch inside, backs him out. 1 ball, 2 strikes. No score with 2 out in the top of the second. New York Mets, the amazing story of the 73 season, as they were in 1969. And the Oakland A's repeating in the World Series. Takes something off this and strikes him out looking. A change. Gets Don Hahn looking. No runs, hits, or errors, none left. To the last of the second we go with no score. Reggie Jackson led the American League in home runs with 32. And in RBIs with 117, and he stole 22 bases. Today, playing center field, will lead off the last of the second inning. Jackson, of course, did not make it to the World Series. Remember, he was on crutches a year ago after scoring the go-ahead run in the final game, sliding into home plate, banged up his leg, was out of the World Series, but now he is back having a great year and leads off the second. The public address announcer here has pointed out that the Oakland A's are playing with only 24 men because of selling Morales to the Expos this year. They were not allowed to add a 25th man, and the announcer here said the New York Mets refused them that permission. And so, he said, the A's are forced to play with 24 men, while the New York Mets will play with the normal complement of 25. You know the kind of reaction that got from the crowd here. Left-hander Matlack throws the breaking pitch to Jackson, hits the outside corner, strike one. One strike to Reggie Jackson in a scoreless second inning. Everybody suspected that these would be low-scoring ball games, and thus far we have had no score. Matlack back with the fastball outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Matter of fact, John Matlack lost 3 1-0 decisions this year and won 3 1-0 decisions this year. So he's in a 1-1 ball game. Matlack has been there before. 1-1 pitch. And back with the fastball, and Jackson swings and misses. Strike 2. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Matlack is only 23 years old. Great star at Westchester, Pennsylvania High School. I know they're listening today. 22-1 there with 7 no-hitters and a perfect game in his senior year. 1-2 pitch. Breaking ball. He took something off, stays outside and low. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Jackson. On deck is Gene Tennis, the hero of last year's World Series. Matter of fact, Tennis said, I got no endorsement. I got no extra money. People don't even know who I am. But he was quite a hero last year. Everybody knew Eugene Fury Eugene Tennis. Almost swung at that breaking pitch. 3-2. It's outside. So Reggie Jackson with great power has worked John Matlack to a 3-2 count. Left-hander against left-hander. Matlack looking to Grody for the side. Now ready to throw. Comes back with the fastball, up the middle, picked up by Harrelson by second base, throws on to Milner, this one out. And that'll bring up Tennis. 258 during the regular year, 24 home runs, 84 RBIs, much better credentials entering this series than last because he played this year, and he didn't play much at all last year. If you forgot what he did in the series last year, he hit .348, 4 home runs, 9 RBIs, caught and played first base. And in the championships of last year, was forced to play at second base and was in the middle of a double play, which didn't quite come off. Matlack ready. They're pulled around to the left for the full hitter. And Matlack pulled the string on that, swing and a miss, strike one.
In the series of last year, the book on Tennis was that you could pitch him high and tight with fastballs, which they did, and which he hit. Right here, the first pitch, a curveball down around the knees.
Matlack right back with the fastball and has the strike. One makes that 2 strikes to Gene Tennis. Jesus Deleu out and swinging on deck. He is a nervous man on deck or in the batter's box. Always moving, grabbing his feet, leaning over, crouching down. Matlack throws another pitch, and Tennis swings and misses and strikes out. Now, each pitcher has 1 strikeout. There's been 1 base runner. Willie Mays singled in the top of the first inning. Alou hitting .306, 1 home run, 11 RBI. When the New York Mets go to the right-handers, which they will not do here in Oakland, Kuzman's scheduled to start tomorrow, then Alou will be out of the lineup. Jackson will go back to right field, and Vic Davalillo will take over in center. Mets did a superb job against the Cincinnati Reds. 8 runs they allowed in 5 games, 7 of which were earned, 5 of which were on bases empty mistakes, home runs. As I recall, all on fastball. Little pop-up right side. Milner by the bag at first base has it in foul territory. Now, this ball game is zooming along with nobody threatening at all. The runs hit to errors again. None left. At the end of 2, there's no score. Mando on the grass by third base. Ken Holtzman, our pitcher. Fossey, our catcher. In a scoreless game as we begin the New York third. Fastball is way high. Harrelson looked as though he was going to bunt. Bando broke in, but it's ball one well out of the strike zone. Matlack is the on-deck hitter with his jacket on. One and oh the count, back with a pitch inside. 2-0. Harrelson looks down to Eddie Oates, coaching at third base, and happy birthday to you, Ed. 47 years old today.
He's in fine shape.
Aiming the pitch this time. Holtzman misses, and it's 3-0. So here he is with the number 8 batter in the lineup. And he's going to 3-0 on Harrelson with Matlack, the pitcher. Due up. Now he misses on ball 4. 4 straight pitches. Now that is very unusual for Ken Holtzman. Number 1, he seldom loses a number 8 batter that way, and number 2, he seldom walks anybody. Little 8 batter. That'll bring up Matlack. See if the John is up there with one thing in mind.
Yogi plays a fairly straight ball game. He seldom deviates from patterns that are normally followed. He'll be sacrificing here with Matlack, we'd have to believe.
Bando now in a step or two on the grass and is beginning to creep even more. Now, in situations like this, breaking in from second base is Dick Green. They will do all kinds of things, Ralph. They will put on all kinds of trick plays. The Oakland A's with men on base, they'll do pickoffs. They'll send infielders that you would normally expect to go one way to a bag in an entirely different direction, trying to catch you off balance. That time they're breaking in Green. Now the first baseman is breaking in, fielded by Holtzman on the bunt. He throws to Green, covering first base.
I'd like to point out, Jim, there's one thing you can do to break up that kind of action is take the pitch, and that's exactly what Matlack was doing, because it takes the element of surprise away. And if you take that pitch, then they have to do it some other way or all over again.
Well, Harrelson, of course, has advanced to second base on the sacrifice by Matlack, and that brings up Wayne Garrett. Holtzman got him swinging at a change in the first inning, and he fouled out to Bando at third base. They've got no score, and for the first time, we have a man all the way to second base in the scoreless ball game. That's Harrelson, who can run. Bando maybe a step in front of the bag at third, swing and a miss to the high pitch. Strike one. They play Garrett around to the right for him to pull the baseball. No runs, 1 hit, no errors for New York. No runs, no hits, no errors for Oakland in game 1 of the 73 series. Garrett waits, pitch is inside, and it's 1 ball, 1 strike. On deck is Felix Millan, a man who nearly always gets a piece of the ball. So they've got a couple of shots at driving in Bud Harrelson. Bando's backed up perhaps a step at third base now. Holtzman's ready, picks on an inside pitch well around in front of it and fouls it off to the reach. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Rusty Staub not playing today. That near shoulder separation has kept him out. Bill North of Oakland not playing today, in that he is still not fully recovered from that sprained ankle. Both teams missing important center fielders, defensively and offensively. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Harrelson with pretty good leadoff at second base. Holtzman with a long stare now with a man at second. Normally he works very quickly. Now ready and takes something off this pitch, bounds in the dirt. Fosse keeps it in front of him. Harrelson has to stand right there by second base. 2-2. Harrelson looking around. He must have read the book. Dick Williams was on the bench this morning with one of his coaches, Vern Harshite, going over the thick book that they have on the New York Mets. They have 3 men fouled at the Mets. More about that later. 2-2 the count, and the ball is fouled away. In that they did not expect your Mets to win, they didn't really cover them with their number 1 men. They had Billy Herman and Al Hollingsworth following the Orioles and Reds. And then when you folks began to creep up, they were using part-time men to follow them. When Sherman Lawler got through with his team down in Tucson, they assigned Lawler to watch the Mets, so they got 3 different scouting reports.
And I bet they're all different.
2-2. Harrelson at second. 1 out. Top of the third. Holtzman is ready and throws in under the half. Ball must have been a foot inside. 3-2.
New York Mets had D. Fondy scouting Oakland for the last month, and he has been right on Oakland all throughout that time.
What wind there is blowing toward left. Garrett is a left-handed batter. Fouls the breaking pitch away. Still 3-2. Oakland fans here anticipating that perhaps this scoreless deadlock will be broken the wrong way for them. Elson leads off at second. Holtzman much more careful with the man in scoring position. Going into Fossey, looking back at second. Now pitches, and the ball is popped up. Right side. Fossey has lost it, so Tennis comes over. Fossey lost it in the sun. It was Tennis's play anyway, coming in toward the ball. And Tennis takes it in foul territory. So there are 2 out. Harrelson still at second base, and Millan, who grounded the green last time up, coming up. Millan and the big trade with the Atlanta Braves coming over to the New York Mets. Atlanta made quite a few changes last year, pulling trades with New York and with Baltimore. And there are those who suspect they will make some changes this year, especially looking for pitching. 2 out now. Harrelson still stationed at second. Holtzman fires a fastball. Strike. Holtzman likes to fiddle around with his fastball in that he will throw hard, harder, and harder. He can take something off that without it being a change. It's just a different degree of a fastball. Strike 1 pitch is another one. Foul to the screen. Strike 2 to Millan, and Holtzman has gone right to work on Millan, challenging him with 2 fastballs down the middle. They're playing Felix. Jackson, after that scouting report, is playing him as though he were a dead full left-handed hitter. He has swung way around in right center field. And all of the outfielders are in close for Millan, who had only 3 home runs all year long. Pitches up high, another fastball, and it's 1 ball, 2 strikes. Now Fossey comes out. Maybe his signals were crossed up there with Ken Holtzman. Talk things over with Holtzman standing in front of the mound. Marty Springstead takes this time. Wipe off home plate. 1-2 the count. 2 out. Willie Mays, team's only base hit. Kneeling on deck. Millan crouches low with his hands almost halfway up the bat. That's how far he choked. Ball is foul down the right field line. Will be well back into the seat. Still 1-2. Millan seldom strikes out. The way he chokes up on that bat, he's going to get the bat on the ball somehow, some way. Maybe called out now and then, but seldom strikes out swinging. Harrelson now has a tremendous lead off at second base. Ball is grounded toward Bando, takes it on the first big hop, throws to first base. Dennis had to jump high in the air, came down on the bag for the out. Bando almost threw it away. No runs, no hits, no errors, 1 left. They go to the last of the third, no score. Back at Oakland, California, Jim Simpson with Ralph Kiner. Last of the third, no score. Catcher Ray Fossey leads it off. Right-handed batter, Matlack throws, fastball, popped up right side. Milner goes over to foul territory. A lot of room there. And backs up and takes it over his head. Milner tracks down the first pitch foul of Ray Fossey, and there's 1 out in the third. That'll bring up Dick Green. By the way, Ralph and I would like to say hello to all of you, wherever you are, South America, in Europe, listening on American Forces Radio, in the Far East, on FEN, in Japan. Hello to all of you in this country and whatever country you are in. And, Ralph, one time we even got a card from a man who had a nuclear submarine under the North Pole. So lots of people listen in lots of different places. Green fouls the first one off to the right. Strike 1 the count. Scoreless in the last of the third. Funny how you enter a World Series game, and this may turn out a different way. We came into this one saying not only today, but every day is going to be a low-scoring game. Through 2.5 innings, we were right. Matlack ready, throws too low. It's 1 ball, 1 strike to Green. As Kenny Holtzman kneeling on deck to come up for the second time in 1973. Incredible. Matlack back changes on a curveball, but misses outside. 2 balls, 1 strike to Green. Green, a right-handed batter. He was the captain of the Kansas City Athletics, currently the Oakland Athletics, back when he was just in his mid-20s. He has been with this ball club for some time. Matlack throws again, fastball misses up and out. 3-1 to Green. Well, Holtzman lost the number 8 batter. Bud Harrelson walked him. Now here's Matlack pitching to Green with a counter, 3 balls, 2 strikes. Matlack does not have the control that Holtzman has and misses with a breaking ball inside, and he loses the number 8 batter. And with 1 out, up comes Holtzman. Now, with Holtzman not having batted all year long, he looks down to Irv Norn, the third base coach. And it might be, even though there's already 1 out, Ralph, it might be that they're going to bunt anyway since Holtzman has not swung the bat.
I wouldn't doubt it at all. I think that baseball has changed to the point where they do bunt with a pitcher unless he's an exceptional hitter.
Catfish Hunter is one of those. For Oakland, Kenny Holtzman is not. Has 1 career home run. Squares around the bunt and pops it up foul. Talking with Dick Williams on the bench before the game about his pitchers and about hitting, he said, well, we've had some people working with them. Holtzman said, gee, I wish we'd run it up in 4 so I could have taken more batting practice. But Williams said the first thing we working with and have been working them on is bunting. Bunting, and that is what he is up there to do right now. Fouled the first one off, but Matlack pitched him high there, which is what you want to do in a bunting situation, to make him pop it up. This one is down low. Down to second base goes Green. The throw is waiting for him. He's out. Holtzman missed the bunt completely. The ball was lost by Grody. Holtzman never moved out of the way of Grody. Grody had to come around him, and Green was off and running and is thrown out.
Grody has members in the National League, and also Fossey, the Oakland catcher, is well noted for his arm.
Well, now Ken Holtzman, there's nobody on. And 2 out, and with a count of 1-1, we'll see you swing the bat. World Series play. Changed on a curveball. Strike 2. Drops right over. 1 ball, 2 strikes. No score. Matlack looks as though he shook off one sign and comes back with a fastball down the middle but low. And it's 2-2. Holtzman was watching all the way. Funny when a pitcher comes up in a World Series and you can say he's been up 1 time all year and he walked. 2-2. Matlack ready and throws the fastball. It is outside. And he has gone to 3-2 on the pitcher Holtzman, who by any stretch of the imagination, without a chance to hit this year, cannot be regarded as too much of a hitting threat. Pops this one up, foul, out of play. 3-2. Scoreboard reads the same. No runs, 1 hit. Got a single in the first inning by Willie Mays. No errors. Oakland, no runs, no hits, and no errors. They've had 1 man on. Green, who walked with 1 out in this inning. But also missed the bunt. Green was thrown out at second base by Jerry Grody. Matlack, the big left-hander, throws a fastball, grounded inside third base. Holtzman on his way around first. Jones over in the foul territory to pick it up, and Holtzman goes in with a double. Goes to show you, Ralph Connor, when you make the pitch too good to anybody, you can get in trouble.
Well, the old cliche, anybody is dangerous as long as you're swinging, and Holtzman coming up with the first Oakland base hit and a runner in scoring position with 2 men out, and Bert Campaneris coming up.
And I don't even have to check the statistics. I can tell you that's Holtzman's first hit in
He's batting 1,000.
Here comes Campaneris. Remember, he won one of the playoff championship games with a home run. And he also hit a home run in another. 4 home runs all year, but 2 in the last 5 games in the American League Championship. Campaneris, the dangerous man, now with a chance to drive in a run. So in the third inning, each team has had a man as far as second base. Each team has had a chance to score. Oakland still has its chance. Decoying behind Holtzman at second base is beyond. The throw. Catches the inside corner. Well, Ralph, you told me that Matlack does not throw a slider. That, I guess, goes down as his hard curve there on the inside corner.
That's a fine line, as you well know, Jim.
Strike one. Campaneris, right-handed batter. Matlack pitching, of course, from the stretch. Now fires a fastball that's fouled back. It's 2 strikes to Campaneris. The wind now changed a little bit. It is now blowing out toward the Oakland Hills, back of the stadium, and the haze has lifted a little bit because now we can see those hills, barely. Although it is a sunny day. The scoreboard begins to flash go, and the Oakland fans begin to pick it up. They want Campaneris to do something in this scoreless game. Change on, grounded toward beyond at second base. Through his leg. Here comes Oakland. Picked up by Mays. Throws it to second. It's 1-0. Beyond gets the ball. An easy grounder go right through his leg. Well, you wonder about the miracle of the Mets. This is just the 3rd inning of the first game. But a pitcher who had only batted once all year long gets a double, and Millan, a fine second baseman, has an easy ground ball, not hard hit at all, go right through his leg.
In the course of the season, Millan made only 9 errors all season long, and that ball right through his legs, and the run is unearned.
Joe Rudy, who lined to Harrelson, who made a fine play, holding the ball and back to second base for the lead, is up again. Last year was Gene Tennis, who was the hero of the Oakland A's, and Bando said the other day, I got a feeling this year I'm going to pick a hero. And someone said, who's that? And he said, Joe Rudy. Rudy's at bat right now. 12 home runs during the regular season. They check Campaneris, always a threat, 34 stolen bases. They check him back to first base. 1-0. Unearned run. Double by the pitcher Holtzman. Error by Millan on Campaneris' ground ball at second. Again, throwing over to first base. Campaneris that time was only a step or two away. Jerry Adair is the coach there. Irv Norton at third for the A's. Rudy steps back in. Campaneris leads away at first. Matlack from the stretch. Campaneris is not going. He's bluffed back, and then Matlack sends a slow curve over the plate for a strike. First, Campaneris has not run with Matlack the pitcher before, and the move that Matlack made was so good he was coming home. Campaneris was going back to first base. 1 strike to count to Rudy. Good lead now by Campaneris. And now they are checking over there, and Campaneris gets back, and Matlack made that throw a little high. Oakland fans love to see that. Rudy remains in the box. Campaneris leans away. 4 or 5 steps away from the bag. There he goes. Rudy fouls it off. Campaneris will have to come back. Campaneris had a great jump on John Matlack that time, but Rudy was swinging all the way, and it's 2 strikes. Campaneris walks slowly back to first base. Rudy steps out. Matlack steps off the mound. Last year, the A's, who won the World Series, lost 2 of their 3 games that they played here in Oakland. They won 3 out of 4 at Cincinnati. Our score is 1-0. The unearned run scoring in this inning, and Campaneris on at first. 2 strikes to Rudy. Matlack ready. He bluffed Campaneris back. This is fouled right through the third base coaching box. Noren jumps out of the way. But again, as Matlack was coming home, Campaneris, unable to read him yet, was moving back to first base. But I'm sure that Campaneris over at first base is studying John Matlack, the pitcher, very intently. As you and I know, about 90% of all stolen bases, or even more, are stolen off the pitcher, not off the catcher. 2 strikes. Campaneris is leaning towards second base. Matlack is looking. They picked him off with a high throw to Milner, and he didn't straight. They had him picked off. Matlack threw very high to Milner, who did well to haul it in, and Campaneris goes down to second base.
It is really a good thing that Milner jumped high enough to catch that ball. If it had gone by him, Campaneris might have scored.
That is given as a stolen base. Cappy Campaneris. Well, even that time, as we said, Campaneris misread him. And yet got away with it. Now Rudy with a count still of 2 strikes. But more importantly, Campaneris is now down in scoring position. Matlack turns around and walks off the rubber right toward it to bluff him back. Campaneris with speed and with 2 outs will be going on anything that Rudy hits. The 2-strike pitch is inside. Looks like that hard curve again. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Matlack has already allowed more runs in this ball game than he did against Cincinnati last Sunday, but the big difference here is the run that he allowed is unearned. He should be out of this inning. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Neon and Helton constantly jumping around behind Campaneris, trying to keep him as close as they can to second. He has got a tremendous lead naturally. Matlack throws, the ball is fouled back toward us. Still 1 ball, 2 strikes to Joe Rudy. Well, Fossey fouled out, swinging on the first pitch. Green walked. Holtzman tried to bunt, missed the ball, and Green was thrown out at second base, trying to go down, expecting the ball to be bunted. Holtzman then had to swing, got a count of 3-2, drilled a double inside the bag at third base. Campaneris sent a slow roller to Miana, went through his leg. The run scored Holtzman, and now Campaneris has stolen second as Matlack threw high on a perfect pickoff play. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Rudy. The fastball, right field. Campaneris on his way around third base. Over is Don Hahn. It's 2-0, Oakland. The second unearned run. Rudy didn't get around on it, but he got around far enough. The line at the right field. And that'll bring up Sal Bando, who sent Cleon Jones to the warning track for his line drive back in the first inning. Nobody busy at all in the net bullpen. Yogi realizing that this is not all of Matlack's doing. Although the high throw to Milner at first base enabled Campaneris to steal second and give that extra dimension. Line drive center field. Base hit. Stopping at second base is Rudy. Now the ball is bobbled by Mays, and so Rudy goes to third. The second error in the inning. Runners at first and third, and very quickly we're going to get some activity in the bullpen. For the New York Mets, Rube Walker is coming out, the pitching coach. Now crossing the first base. Terry Parker warming up rather quickly. A right-hander who saw action in those playoff games. 2-0 to score, both runs unearned. But someone asked Yogi Berra yesterday, who do you think is going to win the series? And Yogi's answer was, whatever team gets the most runs. He didn't say whatever team gets the most earned or unearned runs. For both runs unearned. But someone asked Yogi Berra yesterday, who do you think is going to win the series? And Yogi's answer was, whatever team gets the most runs. He didn't say whatever team gets the most earned or unearned runs. And all runs count. It's 2-0. And now, Reggie Jackson, the biggest man in the Oakland lineup, is up. 32 home runs, 117 RBIs. He worked Matlack to a 3-2 count of the second inning and grounded to Helton at short. Rudy at third, Bando on at first. Matlack ready, left-hander to left-hander. Throw, and the pitch is up high. Ball 1. Milner holding. Bando on at first base. Garrett wide at third, and Rudy down the line at third, the base runner. Parker continues to warm in the New York bullpen. Matlack pitching from the stretch, of course, takes something off this ball, pops it up toward short left field, overcomes Helton and Garrett, and the left fielder Jones, and it is Helton in foul territory to snag the foul. A 2 unearned run scorer on 3 base hits. There were 2 errors and 2 men left. At the end of 3, Oakland 2, New York nothing.
Well, the Oakland Ball Club has broken it open, and they are leading by a score of 2-0 as they have scored 2 runs in the bottom of the 3rd. We go to the top of the 4th. The Mets coming up. It's Willie Mays, and here's Jim Simpson.
All right, Ralph Connor. Willie Mays singled back in the 1st inning. His error, as it turned out, in the last of the 3rd inning, did not cost. But that's anything. The costly error was Beyond's at second base. And Beyond was the last man up in the 3rd inning, so he'll have to wait for 8 more men to go to bat before he can try to redeem himself with his bat. Mays singled under the glove of Bando, first time up in the 1st inning. That is the only hit that the New York Mets have. Ken Holtzman, in the last 12 innings he has worked, has allowed absolutely no runs at all, and only 2 hits, including Mays's. His first pitch is outside to Willie. Ball 1. 2-0 to score. Cleon Jones standing on deck. Mays looking to get on again. Swings of the pitch, bounds on 2 short hops to Bando, and he throws out Willie Mays. And the days that you used to see Willie Mays streak to first base are no more.
Still does pretty good time to first for 42 years of age.
Here's Cleon Jones. Well, the game is going to miss him, although Willie's going to stay around the game of baseball. Says it's just his life. That's all. Just my life. Game has been good to him, and oh, how good he has been to the game of baseball. Cleon Jones hit a sharp comebacker right to Holtzman, was thrown out to end the 1st inning for the New York Mets. Mets trailed by 2. We're in the 4th. 1 out. First pitch is on the outside corner to the right-handed Jones. Strike 1. Holtzman just likes to look, get a sign, and go to work. Here he comes right back, changes on this one. This ball is hit out into the alley in left center field. Jackson back, Rudy back. It falls between them. Bounds off the wall. Jones goes into second base with a stand-up double. And the Mets are back in business, just like that. Long double about 390 feet away on 1 hop off the wall. And that'll bring up John Milner, the left-handed hitting first baseman with those 23 home runs during the regular season. Means, of course, that one swing of Milner's bat and this ball game would be even Steven again. It's only 3:30 down that right field line. What wind there is blowing out. Rhodey is on deck. Holtzman now will slow the tempo down quite a bit, as he did with Helson at second base in the 3rd inning. Fastball, line drive. On comes Jackson in center field. Around third base comes Jones. Jackson is going to throw way offline home, and it goes over the catcher and down to second base. On the throw goes Milner. He can't go on to third, so the high throw doesn't get him another base. But it's 2-1, and the Mets have the tying run down at second base. Holtzman staked a 2-run lead in the last of the 3rd. Gives back one of them with back-to-back hits here in the 4th with 1 out. With Milner singling to center and going to second on the throw. Now, after 12 innings, we just said that, Ralph. Holtzman allowed no runs. He's allowed 1. And so now the Oakland bullpen will go to work as Grody steps up. Jerry Grody, we told you last time he was up, has been a hot hitter since August the 3rd, hitting over 300. Horacio Pena, one of the 2 men throwing in the bullpen. The other is Paul Lindblad, left-handed, right-handed. 2-1 the score. Holtzman throws. Grody, center field. Back goes Jackson on the dead run, trying to catch up to it. He does! Get all the way to the warning track and now turns around, throws to the cutoff man. Milner was halfway to third and had to come back. Jackson on the dead run. He's been bothered with hamstring cold here in September. And again, as Harrelson made his line drive catching back at second base, there was a little of the white showing on that when Jackson just did get to it. We pause 30 seconds for station identification. Players have been fined for doing just that, picking up a ball and tossing it back in the stands. But we'll look the other way. Good one. Fastball catches the corner. On protecting the ball, thought that was outside or low. Anybody did not offer a report, and Springstead says strike 1. Remember, the American League is considered a high ball league. They give you the strike up high. In the National League, it's the one down low. It is an American League umpire behind the plate today. That ball was low, but called a strike. This one is too low. 3-2. So when they opened in New York on Tuesday night before all of those fans at the Mets Shea Stadium, an American League umpire, Jerry Neudecker, will be behind the plate. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out. Milner at second, 1 run in. Holtzman is ready. Throws, it's fouled away again. 3-2. The American League umpires are wearing red jackets. The National League, very conventional, all blue. Lindblad, the left-hander, Pena, the right-hander, still throwing. Dick Williams had a conference at the mound with Holtzman. And a go with his 21-game winner. Holtzman back, throws very hard and walks on, and that'll bring up Harrelson, who walks to lead off the 3rd inning. And so now, the Mets not only have the tying run at second, they've got the go-ahead run, Hahn, on at first base. And Harrelson, the batter. Don Hahn worked to count the 3-2, fouled one off, and then took ball 4. Matlack is out and on deck. Must be feeling a little bit better now. His team was within a run after giving up those 2 unearned runs. Strike on the outside corner from Holtzman. Harrelson watched it all the way. The upper right field stands, the upper left field stands down the line near the foul poles, far from being filled. The strike 1 pitch, fastball, lined foul, into the seats, down to the right. Instead of having ball boys here, we have lovely blondes and yellow blouses and, what would you call it, tawny blonde hair down their backs, seated along the first base line and third base line. Holtzman ahead of Harrelson, 0-2. Now comes back with the pitch too high, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Well, the playoffs were exciting. Both went to the limit, 5 games. New York winning on Wednesday. Oakland, rain delayed, ending up on Thursday, and now we begin the World Series spectacle. And there is strike 3 swinging. Holtzman hits Harrelson with 2 men on. 1 run scores on 2 base hits, no errors, and the 2 men left. We go to the last of the 4th. Oakland 2, New York 1.
Now to the bottom of the 4th inning. Oakland 2, the New York Mets 1, and once again, Jim Simpson.
And the first batter will be Gene Tennis, who struck out swinging against Matlack back in the 2nd inning. Tennis, last year's World Series hero. Game 2 of the World Series right here in Oakland. Now, 4:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, our starting time. Then the day off on Monday. Then at least 2 in New York, if not 3, at 8 o'clock Eastern Time. Tennis, right-handed batter, holds it out high above his head. Matlack, the left-hander, ready. Strike. Breaking pitch. 2-1 the score. Oakland. Mays around in left center field. They're playing tennis, of course, to pull. This breaking pitch is too far inside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Actually, a warm day in the Bay Area. Not hot, but it's well under the 70s, I would imagine. Ball hit off the fist, so he didn't get all of it, into left field, and Jones trots in and takes it. That's 1 out, and we'll bring up Alou, who has spent the last couple of minutes jerking his head around, moving from side to side. He does a little dance. As he steps in to practice swing, he's been swinging quite a bat, 306 during the regular season. One of the men that Charlie Finley invested in to bring him over, got him from the Houston Astros to the National League in the race for the pennant, which they got. Fouled out to Brody, the catcher, in the 2nd inning. Matlack ready and throws him a breaking pitch, which is fouled back. Strike 1.
Last year, Finley got Matty Alou over here. Brought him over, so he must have some affinity for the Alou brothers. There's one left, Felipe.
He had it, that's right. They've all played here. Matlack ready and throws Down and low, 1 ball, 1 strike. At one time, with the Giants, years ago, all 3 Alou brothers were in the same outfield for San Francisco. On the field at the same time. 1 ball, 1 strike. This is hit on the fifth, but it's hit deep. Jones goes back to the wall, looks there at the wall, and makes the catch as he goes to his knees. You could tell that Alou did not get all of that, but he certainly hit it a long way.
Leon Jones actually misplayed the ball a little bit. He got back against the wall and hit the fence, and the ball dropped in closer on the warning track, and he had to go to his knees to make the catch just off the ground.
Well, both the balls, Ralph, correct me if I'm wrong, by Tennis and Alou looked like they were hit off the fist. They started out like it was something, but neither one of them quite got it all.
No doubt about that. Matlack is excellent at jamming right-hand batters. He throws that fastball inside. He has a lot of velocity on the ball, and he jams quite a few, breaks a lot of bats.
Well, 2 out, and here's Fossey. Last time up, Ray was swinging at the first pitch and fouled out to Milner at first base. 2-1 our score with 2 out of the Oakland fourth. Oakland leads it. Fossey takes low, ball 1. On deck is Dick Green. Wind has picked up just a little bit. They play Fossey absolutely straight away. Mays is straight away. Breaking pitch misses outside. 2-0. Ray had a great year, remember, in the All-Star game, and then Pete Rose barreled into him. He was hurt, and Fossey never really has come back since, although he had a pretty good year this year. There's a called strike, hitting .256, 7 home runs, 52 RBIs. And he has had the pleasure, now he's asking Springstead for a look at that baseball. Marty Springstead, the umpire, goes out and says, it's okay, tosses it back to Matlack. Fossey's had the pleasure of catching 3 20-game winners this year. 2-1. 2 out. Matlack now ready. Comes back with a fastball. Grounder on 2 hops to Harrelson. Waits for it. Throws on to first base, and that's a 1-2-3 inning, although it looked as though Tennis and Alou had hit the ball very hard. At the end of 4, the A's lead the Mets 2-1.
All of a sudden right now, here in very difficult for the left fielder, and evidently Cleon Jones had some trouble with that son as he made that catch, going back and running into the left field fence and then coming up to his knees to catch it just off the ground on the warning track. But he made the play, a 1-2-3 inning, and we're going to the 5th. There's Jim.
And John Matlack, who successfully sacrificed Harrelson down to second base, his only other time at bat, will lead off the 5th inning. And this is one of the axioms of baseball. Every pitcher loves to do this. Lead off an inning pitching against the opposing pitcher. Most of the time, the opposing pitcher will not reach base, so most of the time you figure it's a 2-out inning. Holtzman is a left-handed pitcher, of course, and Matlack bats as he throws, left-handed. Now ready, Holtzman getting the signs from Fossey in this 2-1 ball game. A's lead it as we are almost halfway through. Pitch is inside to Matlack, ball 1. Both of the A's runs are unearned. Back with a fastball outside, misses 2-0. Well, here's Holtzman working on the other pitcher again, and it's 2-0. Matlack gave up a double to Holtzman in the 3rd. Holtzman scored the first run. Now throws way high and inside. Ken Holtzman has simply thrown. When he walked Harrelson in the 3rd inning, now quickly Wes Stock, the pitching coach, is running out. When he walked Harrelson in the 3rd inning, Ralph, he walked him on 4 pitches. So Wes Stock is out there now to, obviously he has seen something that he wants Ken Holtzman to do, or not to. Wally Fingers has become the right-hander in the bullpen down there now, along with Darrell Knowles. They are their 2 aces. Lindblad and Pena have taken a seat, and Wes Stock now trots back across the baseline, heading for the A's dugout, which in Oakland is down the 3rd base side, which means that down the 1st base side, if you're a New York Met, the sun is going to get around and into your face if the day gets long enough. But that's standard operating procedure. The home team takes the shady dugout. Now 3-0, and there's a strike. 3 balls, 1 strike to Matlack, the leadoff batter in the 5th inning. Wayne Garrett, who leads off the New York Met batting order, stands on deck. Strike 2. Holtzman comes right back. 3 balls, 2 strikes. They're playing Matlack to hit it the other way and playing him very short. Comes back again, and he fouls it off. Back to home plate, 3-2. Vida Blue, another left-hander to go tomorrow for the Oakland A's. Jerry Kuzman, another left-hander for the New York Mets tomorrow. 3 balls, 2 strikes. And there's a foul tip that Fossey can't hold on to, and it looks as though it might have gone off his foot as he limps around. Still 3-2. For those of you who may just have joined us, Rusty Staub took batting practice today. A little bit of pain. Doctor said he could play him today, and Willie Mays, who has a base hit in 2 attempts, is filling in for him in the outfield. High pitch from Holtzman. He has lost the pitcher. He has put the tying run to pitcher on first base with none out. And Holtzman, averaging only 2 walks per 9 innings, has walked the leadoff batter in the 3rd. He walked the man in the 4th, and he walked the leadoff batter, the pitcher, in the 5th. And that'll bring up Garrett, who twice has fouled out. Once to third base, once to first base. Infield, Kenneth at first base, of course, just a little bit behind the bag since Garrett is a left-handed batter. He's not holding. Garrett bunts, pops up, throw to first base, double play. Well, there's a perfect pitch. When you're trying to bunt a high fastball, very difficult to get down on the ground well. He popped it right up, and Holtzman doubled off Matlack at first.
Under normal conditions, Wayne Garrett, an excellent bunter. Right here, the double play pulled off, and now 2 men away, the batter coming up, Felix Millan.
And here's Millan. He is grounded out the 2nd and the 3rd.
Felix Millan.
And you know what he's thinking of? He was hoping that sacrifice would work in this 2-1 ball game because of Millan's error that allowed 2 runs unearned to score in the Oakland 3rd inning. And Felix would love to have a chance to drive in the tying run. Can't do that now. Let's see, it's a home run, but at least he can try to get on base. This is the time that an infielder likes to redeem himself. Fossey walks out, Bando walks over, Millan walks back and uses the rag to make his hands a little bit stickier to get a good choked up grip on that bat. Chokes it nearly halfway. At the top of the 5th with 2 out, and Millan now ready. Both Lindblad and Knowles continue to throw. Holtzman throws high, ball 1. Bando, suspecting that Millan might be trying to bunt his way on, was breaking in toward home plate. And there's another high pitch. 2-0. Very unusual. We don't mean to keep saying this, but Holtzman is a control pitcher. And he's having trouble with his control. And most importantly, his pitches are up high. Drive, left field. Back goes Rudy, glasses down, turns, circles. They have lost it now, puts up one hand. He did lose it. He falls down. Millan is on his way to second base. Going toward third base, the throw to the cutoff man. And Campaneris runs it in. He's in at third. Rudy turned left and right and left and right and lost the ball.
There's no doubt, Jim, that the sun is causing a lot of difficulty for the left fielder because he turned around here, made the spin, as you call it, and it appeared like he never really saw the ball. He made a couple of adjusting steps at the last second, but couldn't get back to it.
That is a triple all the way. The left field. Rudy really had trouble. And now, for those of you who like drama with your baseball, here is 42-year-old Willie Mays filling in for young Rusty Staub. Willie Mays comes up with 2 out and a World Series game and a tying run at third base. Mays steps in. Holtzman is ready. Up high. Fastball. Ball 1. Don't get me wrong. Millan's ball was a hard-hit line drive, but had Rudy gotten the proper jump on it, been able to see the ball, he could have raced toward the warning track and hauled it in there. As it was, he sprawled flat on his face with the ball bounding away from him. 1-0 pitch, another fastball, and it hits the corner. 1 ball, 1 strike. Oakland 2, New York 1, tying run at third base with 2 out. Game 1. Cleon Jones on deck. Holtzman looking for a sign from Ray Fosse. Now ready to throw. Up high again. It's 2-1. And Fosse now goes out to talk to Holtzman. He says, Ralph, that he got from his scouts is if you beat them once, look out. They'll come back twice as hard the next time. If you go out in front of them, don't relax with your lead because they battle back. Mays waits with a 2-1 count. Holtzman ready. Pitching with a windup and misses outside. It's 3-1. And the dangerous Cleon Jones, who has a double in 2 attempts, on deck. 3-1. Let's see if they have Willie swinging away. I would imagine so, wouldn't you? The man at third base. Willie can still deliver with power. He's swinging and fouls back. 3-2. Now it is Fingers. Knowles is just standing in the bullpen, not throwing. It is Fingers, since Jones is due up, that is doing most of the warming up. Now Knowles resumes his warm-up. Fingers the right-hander, Knowles the left-hander. His waits on 3-2 with 2 outs. Holtzman comes in with a fastball, hit out toward right field. Not deep at all. Alua's over there. No sun problems there. Backs on the ball and has it. And Holtzman and the A's are out of it. No runs. 1 hit. No errors. And 1 man left standing at third base, Felix Leon. They go to the last of the 5th with a score of Oakland 2, New York 1. We're about ready to go to the last of the 5th inning, in which Green, Holtzman, and Campaneris are scheduled in that order. Walking out now is Dick Green. And this is Jim Simpson, along with Ralph Connor, speaking from Oakland, California, on a delightfully sunny day at a very exciting ball game in which the Oakland A's lead the New York Mets. A's have 2 runs, both unearned, and the Mets have 1. The starting pitchers, Matlack and Holtzman, are still in there. Matlack will now pitch to Dick Green, and now ready for the play-by-play is Ralph Connor.
Thank you very much, Jim Simpson, and hi, everyone. Dick Green walked in a 3-1 pitch his first time to start off a 2-run rally for Oakland in the 3rd when they broke the deadlock. And the first pitch is called a ball. Time called. The home plate umpire, Marty Springstead, wants to check the ball out. Green batted .260 in the regular season. He had 3 home runs, 42 runs batted in. He has been credited with one of the longest home runs hit in this ballpark, hitting the wall in back of the bleachers in left center field. Now the pitch by Matlack. It is swung on and fouled away. Fastball fouled off. 1 ball and 1 chance. 1 strike. Matlack has given up 2 unearned runs, 3 hits. They all came in the 3rd. He has struck out 1 batter and walked 1. Matlack in the regular season won 14, lost 16. He had 34 starts. And the left-hander's next pitch. It is again fouled away. Back into the stands, again a fastball. 1 ball and 2 strikes. John pitched 3 shutouts. All 3 were 1-0 ball games. Worked 242 innings, gave up 210 hits, walked 99, struck out 205. Only Tom Seaver and John Matlack have struck out over 200 batters in a single season for the New York Mets. Pitches inside. They count 2 balls and 2 strikes. Matlack had 14 complete games and was sidelined 1 time this year for 11 days when he was hit by a batted ball. It fractured his skull. Marty Perez hit the ball back to the mound. It bounced into the Met dugout, and he had a fractured skull. Here's a pitch, and it is rounded foul. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Last year, Matlack was the Rookie of the Year. He had 15 wins and 10 losses. And a 2-2. The pitch to Dick Green. It is swung on and missed, and the bat flies out of Green's hand, flies over near the third base coaching box. Matlack gets a strikeout, his 2nd of the game, and now with 1 away, the batter will be Ken Holtzman, who has batted only 2 times this season. He walked his first time and doubled and scored his other time up. Angel Mangel is in the on-deck circle. There might be a possibility of a pinch hitter for Ken Holtzman. Angel Mangel is going to pinch hit for Ken Holtzman. So that is all for Ken as he works 5 innings in this ball game. Fingers is throwing in the bullpen for the A's. In the playoffs, Mangel had an average of 111. He had 1 base hit and 9 times up. Overall, he batted .224 with 3 home runs and 13 runs batted in. A right-hand batter. And the first pitch to Mangel is taken in for a called strike. Mets playing about straight away. Garrett, the third baseman, even with the bag at third. And John Matlack into the windup, the 1-strike delivery. It is hit hard foul down the first base side. So they count it strike 2. Raleigh Fingers will be the new pitcher for the Oakland A's. Olson working through 5 innings, gave up 1 run on 4 base hits. There's a drive that Harrelson dives for and makes the catch at short. Another great play by Bud Harrelson. Line drive to Harrelson's right. He had to make a diving catch of the line drive and then went down to his knees. He pulled off of it. Another great play in the ballgame on Joe Rudy in the first inning when he went the other way to his left side. So 2 men away, and the batter coming up is Bert Campaneris. Campaneris is 0 for 2. He has popped the second. He was safe on an error by baseman in the third. That opened the gates for 2 unearned runs for the Oakland team. Campaneris choking it from the bat about 2 inches, the right-hand batter, and the first pitch is taken low at the ball. Campaneris batted .250 in the regular season with 4 home runs, 46 runs batted in. The pitch back is swung on and missed. Curveball by Matlack, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike. The A's against left-hand pitching, 127 and lost 22 in the regular season. 1-1 delivery. It is swung on and missed. Again, the breaking pitch, and the count 1 ball and 2 strikes. The Mets against left-handers, 123 and lost 27. The A's switching from the left-hander to bring in Raleigh Fingers. Take over for Ken Holtzman. And the 1-2 pitch. It is a check swing foul ball, grounded off to the first base side. So the count holds at 1 ball and 2 strikes. In Matlack's last 12 decisions, he won 7 and lost 2 and had 3 no decisions. And again, there's a swing and a foul tip into the glove of Jerry Grody, and Matlack strikes out his third man, got him with a high fastball, and the side is retired in order. And the score, at the end of 5, it's Oakland 2, the New York Mets 1.
Swept off home plate. Ray Fosse comes back behind home plate to work with his new pitcher, Raleigh Fingers, as Cleon Jones steps in. Here's Ralph.
Okay, Jim, Raleigh Fingers, 7 and 8 in this season, making his appearance here against the New York Mets. And the right-hander with the first pitch, a breaking ball over, called strike. The batter, Cleon Jones. Cleon doubled and scored in the 4th inning. He was driven in by John Milner, who is on deck.
Keeps that ball low and away on the outside corner, Ralph. Very tough on right-handed hitters.
Home run average of 1.92 for the year. And the pitch back is low and outside. It's ball 1. He was in 62 ball games, had 22 saves. He was in 6 games in the 1972 series, tying a record. He won 1, lost 1, had an home run average of 1.74 against Cincinnati. Next pitch is outside, low and outside, 2 balls and 1 strike. A's had an 8-man staff in 1972 series. That was the first team to go into the series with only 8 pitching eligible since the Cardinals in 1944. The next pitch to Jones is popped up on the first base side. It's going into the stands out of play. So the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. For the Mets, it'll be Cleon Jones, John Milner, and Jerry Grody as their first 3 batters as they bat in the 6th. A's leading 2-1. They have had 3 base hits. The Mets have had 4, but the 2 runs scored by Oakland, unearned runs. Mets making 2 errors in the inning, only 1 when Oakland scored their 2 in the 3rd, resulting in the unearned run department. Here's a pitch low, and it's 3-2 to Jones. Leon double off the left center field fence with one away in the fourth inning was immediately scored on the first pitch to John Milner when he singled to center. 3-2 pitch. It is hit through the middle, a base hit. Jones to first base, and the Mets have the potential tying run at first base with no one out as they bat in the top of the sixth. First base. John Milner, the next batter. He's 1 for 2 in this game. Milner, a left-hand batter. Leon has good speed, the runner at first base, but he does not steal many bases. The Mets only had 27 stolen bases in 45 attempts in the regular season. Raleigh Fingers, the right-hander to the set position. And the first pitch to Milner, it's a fastball inside a ball. Right away, you know the scouting report on pitch by Fingers. It was inside. Report being that John can be pitched to inside on the inside corner with fast stuff. He has the club record for home runs by a left-hand batter for a New York Met at 23. Frank Thomas holds the overall record at 34. There's a fastball back on the inside corner, swung on and fouled. 1 ball and 1 strike. John Milner from Atlanta, Georgia. His idol, Hank Aaron, sitting in the stands over behind the Oakland dugout. Tom Seaver's idol is Hank Aaron. 1 ball, 1 strike. And the pitch. Breaking ball over at the knees on the inside part of the plate, 1-2. Milner did not like the call. John out of the batter's box, now back in. A's play Milner as a slight pull hitter. 1-2. And the next delivery. It is grounded out in front of the mound. It's going to be picked up by Ray Fosse. He fields the ball, throws to first base, and on the out at first. Jones down in scoring position at second base with 1 away. That'll bring up Jerry Grody. He was robbed of an extra base hit and a run batted in on a fantastic play by Reggie Jackson back in the fourth inning. A drive to deep left center field that Jackson actually outran and caught going away from the infield. Grody also has grounded out. He's 1 for 2. Missed 60 days of the regular season with a broken arm. He was hit by a pitch from Ramon Hernandez of the Pittsburgh Pirates. And Fingers with his first pitch to Grody. It's through the left. It could be gone. If it stays fair, it is going to be a home run. It is a foul ball. That ball was fouled by just a matter of full feet.
Now, I know, Ralph, that Holt was a left-hander and Fingers was a right-hander, but Jackson was playing Grody in right center field and had to run to left center to make the great catch back in the fourth inning, and even now he is over in right center field, and Grody pulled that one down the left field line. What's the book on Grody?
Well, the book on Grody is that he is about a straightaway hitter. A lot of times the pitcher does not pitch the ball the way he's supposed to. That pitch was inside, and Grody pulled the ball down the line. It was just foul. Now Fingers sets up. Here's the pitch. This one was high and outside. Fastball, it's 1-1. Jerry, in the course of the season, had only 1 home run. He drove in 32. Finished up the year hitting 300 from August 3rd on. 1 ball, 1 strike. Grody, a veteran of the '69 World Series play, Mets against Baltimore. There's a breaking ball outside. 2 balls and 1 strike. Ray Fosse walks the ball out in front of home plate before returning it, saying something to Raleigh Fingers. Now Fosse back to signs going out. Leon Jones, the runner at second base. He represents the tying run. 1 man out. We're in the top of the 6th. And here's the pitch. Grody swings and fouls it straight back into the stands, out of play. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And wherever you see the Mets play, you see The banners displayed in the outfield. There's one in right center field. I believe in Willie, for Willie Mays. Banners all the way around. Of course, many for Oakland, as you would expect here in this hometown of the Oakland A's. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Here's the pitch. Brody hits it in the air to shallow center field. Coming up is Reggie Jackson. Back goes Dick Green. They have trouble. Green falls down. Dick Green fell down trying to get into position to make the play, and Jackson moving up had enough time to get under the ball to make the play. 2 men away. It brings up right fielder Don Hahn. Hahn has struck out and walked in his 2 appearances in this game. Batted .229 for the year with 2 home runs and 21 runs batted in. Hahn, a right-hand batter, also played over toward right center by Reggie Jackson. And the first pitch. Hahn takes a fastball over the outside corner, a called strike. Hahn was platooned in center field most of the late part of the season with Dave Schneck, a left-hand batter, but when the Mets had to get down to a 25-man roster, Schneck was not put on the active roster with Hahn playing in every game. There's a fastball fouled on the first base side. That stands strike 2. First game of this World Series, an important ball game. In 70 World Series played previously, first game winner won the World Series 41 times out of 70. Harry Parker again throwing in the bullpen for the Mets. Here's the pitch to Hahn. He swings and fouls it again back into the stand. Only 6 times in the history of the World Series has a team lost the first 2 games and come back to win it. Only 3 times with a team down 3 games to 1 have they come back to win it. And never has a team lost the first 3 and come back to win the World Series. First game winners 41 times out of 70. Here's the pitch. Hahn swings and it is off of the glove. Hahn is struck out. He goes down to first bases and safe, and Jones moves over to third. So on the strikeout, we'll have either a wild pitch or a pass ball, allowing Don Hahn to get on. It is recorded as a strikeout, and the Mets have runners at first and third. Oh, right away, Jim Simpson, you recall strikeouts with shoe polish when you think of a World Series. One time it was Milwaukee and Nippy Jones. They looked at the ball after he had struck out and got to first base, and they found that there was shoe polish on the ball. And in '69, Leon Jones struck out, and they did not call him out. Looked at the ball with the shoe polish on it. They said yes.
This ball was so high, there was no question. This was a high, and it might have been that Fossey was crossed up on the pitch. Anyway, it was up high. Hahn swung and missed. The ball did go off Fossey's mitt and roll back to the screen. Of course, Hahn dashed down to first base, and more importantly, Jones went over to third, and there are still 2 out.
2 men away, and the batter coming up is Bud Harrelson. Bud was up in the 4th inning with runners at first and second and 2 men out, and he was struck out. He walked on 4 pitches in the 3rd. Harry Parker, a right-hander, throwing in the bullpen for the Mets. John Matlack is the on-deck batter. It is being scored a pass ball against the catcher, Ray Fossey. And the first pitch to Bud Harrelson is inside the ball. Bud batting left-handed against the right-hander, Raleigh Fingers. Harrelson batted .258 in the regular season. He has more power from the right-hand side. Saw so many right-hand pitches in the last month of the season, he said he got used to hitting left-handed and liked it more. Now the pitch back to Harrelson. He takes it over the outside corner, called strike. 1 ball and 1 strike. Darrell Knowles, a left-hander, starting to loosen up in the bullpen for Oakland. Leon Jones, the runner at third. Don Hahn, the runner at first base, 2 men away. And the next pitch to Harrelson is swung on and missed. 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1-2 to count. All he fingers goes to the set position. And his pitch. It is a check swing foul ball grounded over into the A's dugout. So the count holds at 1 ball and 2 strikes. A's leading by a score of 2-1. 2 men out. We're in the top of the 6th inning. The Mets with runners at 1st and 3rd. Again, it's the 1-2 pitch. Harrelson swings and misses and is struck out. That retires the tie. No runs. 1 hit. No errors and 2 men left. And the score at the end of 5 1/2 innings, Oakland 2, the New York Mets 1. 1 hit. No errors and 2 men left. And the score at the end of 5 1/2 innings, Oakland 2, the New York Mets 1.
Playing with any other left field line. Capadero sent an easy ground ball to Millan and let it go through his leg. And Holtzman scored from second base. Rudy followed up with a single throwing Capadero who had stolen second base after Matlock nearly had him picked off. Then in the 4th inning, the Mets came right back. Jones doubled and Milner singled him home to make it 2-1. And twice, Ralph, in the 5th and 6th inning, the Mets have had men as far as third base with 2 out and have failed to get in the tying run.
And 3 times they have had runners in scoring position without getting them home. We're going now to the bottom of the 6th, and Joe Rudy to lead off. He singled the right field his last time up. He was robbed of a base hit in the 1st inning his first time up. And the first pitch by Matlack is swung on and missed as Matlack pulls the string. It'll be Joe Rudy, Sal Bando, and Reggie Jackson for the left-hander here in the 6th inning. Now the signs are out. The 1-strike delivery. Again, a slow curveball. But it's out of the strike zone, and they got 1 ball and 1 strike. Rudy, a right-hand batter, played straight away by the New York Mets outfield. Batted .270 in the regular season. 12 home runs, 66 runs batted in. Chokes up about 2 inches on the bat. The pitch back is bunted on, and he is hit by the ball in fair territory and is out. Rudy trying to bunt his way on was called out by home plate umpire Marty Springstead, and Rudy putting his hand on the umpire, pulling him around as Dick Williams comes out to argue. Williams said he was in the batter's box. If that had been the case, it would have been a foul ball. But if you are hit in fair territory, you are out. A put-out goes to the catcher on the play. So the argument continues. Dick Williams taking up for Joe Rudy.
Funny thing, Ralph, Marty Springstead in his first World Series ever working the plate. Nobody has complained about any pitches yet. And this, of course, is a play that Dick Williams looked at from the dugout. Rudy felt that he should have been allowed to continue to bat because he thought he was still in the batter's box. But Springstead hit through bar, but of course it's against Oakland, so he'll pay the penalty. Here come the boos.
Well, an American League umpire having the first run in here in this overall series. It was not a strong argument, but I guess it was certainly a protest on the part of Dick Williams and Joe Rudy. 1 away, and the batter coming up is Sal Bando. Bando has singled and 2 times up. And the first pitch to the right-hand batter is inside and low. It's ball 1. Three umpires from the American League and 3 umpires from the National. They'll rotate 1 turn all the way through the series. Next pitch is a curveball, swung on and missed. 1 ball and 1 strike. That means if it goes 6 games, each umpire will be behind home plate once. And at 1-1, Matlack back, and the pitch is popped up in foul territory, back into the stands out of play. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Bando batted .288 in the regular season, had 29 home runs, and drove in 97 runs. 1 ball, 2 strikes. A's leading 2-1. 1 man out, bottom of the 6th inning. Ground ball hit out to short. Harrelson digs it out, throws him out, and 2 men away. That will bring up Reggie Jackson. Jackson is 0 for 2 in this game. He has grounded out to short in a 3-2 pitch that was back in the 2nd. And he fouled out to Bud Harrelson in foul territory, the shortstop, in the 3rd. In the third inning, he was batting with 2 men away and runners at first and third base. Jackson hit .293 in the regular season. Led the American League in home runs with a total of 32 and runs batted in with 117. Willie Stargell led the majors in runs batted in with 119. A fastball by Matlack high inside. It's ball one. We're going to see some action starting up in the bullpen for the Mets. The pitcher, Matlack, is the leadoff batter in the top of the seventh, so Yogi Berra getting ready to pinch it for the pitcher. Pitch outside, a breaking ball, 2 balls, no strikes. Doug McGraw starting to throw for the Mets. Left-hander Doug McGraw. Two balls, no strikes, and now the pitch by Matlack to Jackson. It is low and ball 3. 3-0. On deck batter is Gene Kennett. Jackson, of course, a dangerous batter and liable to be given the hitting sign right here with the 3-0 count. Matlack into the windup. Here's the pitch. He was hitting, but he takes the ball. So Jackson walked. The second man walked by John Matlack in the last man on. Jackson with 22 stolen bases in the regular season, and it brings up Gene Kennett, who is 0 for 2. Kenneth was struck out on a fastball in the second. He also flied out the left in the fourth. 0 for 2. Batted .258 in the regular season with 24 home runs and 84 runs batted in. Jackson with a short lead. The first pitch to Kenneth hit off the hands out towards second base. Neon is there. He fields the ball, throws to first base, and the side is retired. No runs, no hits, a walk, and 1 left. And the score at the end of 6. Oakland 2, the New York Mets 1.
As Ralph anticipated, watching Doug McGraw warm up out there along the right field line and the Mets bullpen, Matlack, first up in the 7th, will be batted for by Ken Boswell. Infielder hitting at .227 for the regular season. Raleigh Fingers, the second pitcher. For the A's on the mound, so both starters, Matlack and Holtzman, both of whom most effective in their appearances in the playoffs, are both out of the ball game. McGraw continues to warm up. Boswell now starts to step in. Marty Springstead motions up into the press box to say, put Boswell in as the bench hitter, and here's the announcement. As Boswell steps in, so does Ralph.
Okay, Jim and Ken Boswell, who had 2 pinch hit home runs in the regular season, batted .227. As a pinch hitter, he batted .235. He had 12 hits and 51 times up. Boswell, a left-hand batter. So here in the top of the 7th, the Oakland A's leading by a score of 2-1, and Boswell the pinch hitter for the Mets. Matlack going out of the ball game did not allow an earned run. And the first pitch is low, ball 1. Raleigh Fingers working his second inning. He worked in the 6th inning, gave up a base hit to Cleon Jones, and then struck out Bud Harrelson with runners at first and third and 2 men out. Right-hander back, and the pitch is low and inside. 2 balls and no strikes. The Mets have left 2 runners at third, 1 runner at second in this ball game. They have had 8 base runners. Now at 2-0, the pitch by Fingers, and it's low and inside. Boswell now with a 3-0 count. On deck is Wayne Garrett. He's followed by Felix Leon. And again, the Oakland bullpen is given the sign, and Darrell Knowles is going to heat up. Left-hander Darrell Knowles. 3-0 pitch. It's in at the knees. They call strike, 3 balls and 1 strike. Horatio Pena is also throwing in the bullpen. There's a hit by the first baseman, a base hit for Boswell, right between first and second. And the Mets have the tying run at first base with no one out, and Wayne Garrett coming up. In the 5th inning, after John Matlack had walked in a 3-2 pitch, Garrett tried to bunt and bunted into a double play. Wayne is 0 for 3 in this game. Again, he might be in a bunting situation. Mets have their second hit off Fingers and their 6th base hit in the game. A's have had 3 hits. They all came in the 3rd. Every other inning pitched by Matlack, a 1-2-3 inning. There's a drive right at the second baseman, and it's fielded there by Dick Green. He's going to turn it into a double play. The throw to Campaneris is in time at second. The throw on to first for the double play. Smash at Dick Green, who dug it out in the short hop. Going down to his knees, he got up and made the throw to Campaneris, covering at second for the out there. And then on to first base for the double play. The second double play turned by the A's in this ball game, and it brings Dick Williams out to the mound. That was hit very hard, but right at the second baseman Green. Now with 2 men out and no one on, the batter will be Felix Meehan. He tripled to left center field in the 5th. He's 1 for 3 in the game. Dick Green now has ended his conversation with his pitcher, Raleigh Fingers, also out there, the catcher, Ray Fosse. And Meehan coming up to the plate. Dick Williams, the manager of the Oakland A's. He makes a habit of getting out to that mound many, many times. Felix Meehan coming up. He batted .290 in the regular season. Chokes up in the bat, as Jim told you, about almost a foot. There's the first pitch. It's low, ball 1. Only one other batter I can think of, Jim, that goes up that far in the National League is Ron Hunt of the Montreal Expos.
They're the only 2 I know in either league that go that far.
1 ball, no strikes. And a pitch over the outside corner to knees, 1-1. A's leading 2-1, 2 men out, top of the 7th inning. The first of the best 4 out of 7. And at 1-1, the pitch back to Meehan, low and outside. 2 balls and 1 strike. Ken Holtzman started the ball game, was lifted for a pinch hitter. After working 5 innings, he has been charged with 1 run. He gave up 4 hits, struck out 2, and walked 3. Next pitch is hit hard at the shortstop and taken in the air at his ankle for the out. Bert Campaneris, the shortstop, taking that drive. So in the inning, 2 hard hit balls and 2 good plays by the Oakland A's. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, a double play, no one left, and the score at the end of 6 1/2 innings, Oakland 2, the New York Mets 1.
Well, that's very nice. I've never had before. For the home 7th out here in Oakland, I'm told it just started during the playoffs. I've been here before and never heard it before. The crowd is invited to stand and sing God Bless America, which they did, and it was most beautiful. Tug McGraw, who has been great over the last 2 months of the season, is on the mound warming up now, the left-hander with the screwball. Been in 60 games. He won 5, lost 6, 25 saves. Earned on average of 3.86, but just sensational, as we said, over the last 2 months of the season. Born in Martinez, California, and lives in Poway, California. He was eligible for the 1969 World Series, but was not used. He will be a very big man, you can tell here, in the 1973 World Series. Born about 40 miles from right here in Oakland, California. And the story is out that Yogi Berra, when things were going so bad, with a couple of months to go, in August, told Tug McGraw, here's the baseball, I'm going to use you, and we're going to win or lose with you, and I'm going to keep or lose my job with you, go out and throw. And McGraw, in his last 16 appearances, had 11 saves and 4 victories. And he's on the mound now, with the Mets down 2-1, both Oakland runs unearned. And the Mets have had golden opportunities. As a matter of fact, one of their most golden was robbed by Reggie Jackson. With Miller on at second base when Jackson outran Brody's long drive to left center. That was one of the ways that the A's choked off a run. Lou leads off the 7th against McGraw, and here's Ralph.
Okay, Jim, and the first pitch by McGraw, a fastball over the outside corner. It's a called strike. Tug was given 2 starting assignments to break him out of his slump. In the second one, he pitched a fairly good ball game, did not get involved in the decision. There's a swing and a miss, and it's a strike 2 count. After that, it was a complete turnaround for Tug McGraw. He was devastating as a relief pitcher the last third of the season, maybe even further along and going to about the last pitch back is grounded slowly at the shortstop. A tough play for Harrelson. He comes in, makes the throw in time, and Jesus Alou is out. Ball hit off the hands and just by McGraw, the pitcher, and Harrelson had to charge from shortstop to field that ball on the edge of the infield grass for the play. One away, it brings up Ray Fosse. Fosse was 0 for 2 against John Matlack, who worked 6 innings, allowed no earned runs, was charged with 2 runs unearned, gave up 3 hits. They came together in the third, out 3 and walked 2. And the first pitch to Ray Fosse is bunted on but missed. It's strike 1.
Well, just looking down at Vic Davalillo, he and Wes Stock are talking about something, and they left the field, both of them, for something. Have no idea what's going on. Just thought you'd like to know. Something's going on.
Something is going on. Davalillo, of course, has hit against McGraw. Came from the National League. There's a pitch that's down low. It's 1 ball and 1 strike. McGraw with the overhand delivery throws a screwball, curveball, and fastball, and he has good velocity on his fastball. There's the screwball. It's taken at the knees. They're called strike 1 and 2. After a horrendous start, McGraw has worked his earned run average back to a respectable 3.86. Now a pitch back. It's grounded to short. Harrelson moves to his left side, fields the ball, throws to first base for the out. 2 and away and 2 assists for the shortstop, Bud Harrelson. It brings up the second baseman, Dick Green. Green has walked and struck out in this game. Green, a right-hand batter. Batted .260 in the regular season with 3 home runs and 42 runs batted in. And the first pitch, McGraw, by McGraw, is a screwball over the outside corner, called strike. Screwball breaking away from the right-hand batter, the opposite of the curve. And at 1 strike, Petite and low, 1 and 1. Tug McGraw came from this area right around the bay. There's a fastball, a half swing. He went far enough. It's a strike. It's 1 and 2. Now makes his home down near San Diego, in Poway, California. And at 1-2, the pitch. Fastball, but it misses high and outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. A's 2 runs, 3 hits, no errors. The Mets 1 run, 6 hits, 2 errors. Those errors have hurt. There's a pop-up over by the Mets bench. Coming hard for it is Milner, but he can't catch up to it as it bounces right in front of the Met dugout, then bounces into the stand. As we pointed out earlier, the start of the ball game, there is a lot of foul territory here in Oakland. Ballpark a lot like the Atlanta ballpark. That should be an advantage to the pitchers because you can get a lot of men to foul out balls that would be caught that normally would go into the stand. 2 and 2 the count. Now the pitch. It is grounded out to short. Harrelson comes up with it, throws to first base, and the side retired in order. All assists by Bud Harrelson, and the score.
Game. And the pitching on both sides, as we see Yogi Berra come out for a moment, talking to Marty Springstead, but it's all right. The pitching on both sides has been very good, and we can't help but recall in 5 games against the tough Cincinnati ball club, the Mets pitchers gave up 7 earned runs, 5 of those on bases empty home runs. And here in this ball game, although they're down 2-1, the pitching staff of the Mets has come through again. Matlack, who worked 6 innings, gave up both runs, but both were unearned. Now it's up to the Mets to conquer the A's pitching, which in itself has been excellent. As a matter of fact, Ralph, we remember after the victory in the 5th game for the Oakland A's, Baltimore had no excuse, just said one man, Catfish Hunter, their pitcher beat it.
Well, it was touted as a pitcher's series, and so far it certainly has been that, with more to come. Willie Mays, the leadoff, he had the first hit of this World Series, a single to left in the first inning. And the first pitch is called strike. Mays has not batted against Raleigh Fingers. Fingers now working to his 9th man. He has given up 2 hits, aided by a fine double play started by Green, and also aided by his own strikeout of Bud Harrelson. Runners at first and third. There's this. Strike it at strike 2. Mays is 1 for 3. Until the 5th playoff game, Mays had not played in the ball game for the Mets dating back to September 15th. Now the next delivery, strike 3 call. Mays called out in the fastball over the outside corner at the knees. Fingers gets his 3rd strikeout. He has 1 out here in the 8th inning. The batter coming up, Cleon Jones. Cleon singles, batting against Fingers in the 6th inning, got as far as third base, but was left there. He doubled in the 4th. And has scored the only Met run. He was driven in by John Milner, the on-deck batter. And Cleon is 2 for 3 in this series. Cleon's double was off the fence in left center field about at the 375 mark. The first pitch. Fastball outside, a ball. Jones, a right-hand batter, shaded toward right center field by Reggie Jackson. The ground ball topped out toward third, fielded by Saul Bando. The throw to first base in time for the out. 2 men away, it brings up John Milner, who has a base hit and a run batted in and 3 times up.
First baseman, John.
A's leading 2-1. Mets batting with 2 men out in the top of the 8th inning. Mets won 82 games in the course of the season. They lost 79, winning on the last day of the season, actually going on beyond the regular scheduled season to beat the Cubs to win. The A's won 94, lost 68. First pitch to John Milner. He takes it over the inside corner, a called strike. Beautiful sunshiny day in Oakland. A perfect day for World Series baseball. Now at 1 strike, the pitch to Milner, way outside. Fastball, 1 ball, and 1 strike. Tomorrow we'll be on the air at 4:15 Eastern Time. It's going to be Jerry Koosman pitching for the Mets against Vida Blue. Koosman won 14 and lost 15. Vida Blue won 20 and lost 9 in the regular season. There's a drive to right, another base hit for John Milner. So the Mets have the tying run at first base with 2 men out, and the batter coming up is Jerry Grote. As Jim Simpson pointed out, Grote was robbed on a fantastic play by Reggie Jackson of an extra base hit and a run batted in. We pause 30 seconds for station identification. And the first pitch to Grote is outside the ball. While we cut away, the pitching coach of the A's out to the mound to talk to his pitcher, Wes Stock. Grote is 0 for 3 in this game. Just missed a home run. Ball was fouled by a couple of feet down the left field line. Was robbed of an extra base hit. Now the pitch by Fingers, and it's hit in the air in foul territory on the first base side. Moving over to second baseman Dick Green. Also there, the first baseman Dennis, and Dennis makes the catch, and the side is retired. Good running catch by Gene Dennis to retire the side. 1 hit, no errors, and 1 man left in the score. At the end of 7 1/2 innings, Oakland 2, the Mets 1.
Well, the Oakland A's lead by a run as we go to the last of the 8th. In the 9th, the 7, 8, 9 batters for the New York Mets who are a run behind. And never let it be said that the Mets today have not had their chances. For only in the 2nd inning did they go down in order. Milner, Grote, and Hahn all went out. Other than that, someone has been on base every inning, and the Mets have left 8 men on base. And as Ralph and I have told you, they had a man at second with 1 out when Jackson made the great play on Grote to stop a run there. Later, Hahn walked, but they got out of that inning. They had a man on at first, but Garrett punted into a double play. Rudy misplayed a beyond ball into a triple with 2 out, but Mays couldn't bring him in. That was in the 5th inning. Then Jones singled to lead off the 6th after Milner went out and Grote went out. There was a fastball on a strikeout. And they had men at first and third with 2 out and couldn't get him in. Boswell led off the 7th with a single. Every other ball was hard hit, but one was turned into a double play, and Campaneros caught the other one. And they had a man on first with 2 out in the 8th. They just have not been able to get the run. The only runs the A's have gotten are both unearned. Now it's Oakland's time at bat. Here's Rob.
Wally Fingers, the leadoff for Oakland, the pitcher, right-hand batter. On the mound, Tug McGraw. He worked his 7th inning in order, getting ground balls off 3 batters, Jesus Salou, Ray Foxy, and Dick Green. And the first pitch is called a strike. McGraw, the left-hander, the pitch back to the plate. Screwball is low and inside. John Odom is throwing in the bullpen for Oakland. 1 ball, 1 strike. And McGraw into the windup. His next delivery swung on and missed, and Fingers with a hard swing, but no contact. 1-2. McGraw had 60 appearances in the regular season. Now he misses with a fastball outside. He came in the 5th game of the playoff championship game to preserve Tom Seaver's win. Pitched to Joe Morgan, got him to pop to short, and got Dan Dreesen to ground out to first. Gave the Mets the National League Championship. There's a fastball fouled into the stands. 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2-2, and the pitch back to the plate. Screwball, a wild swing and a miss, and Fingers has struck out. Fooled completely with the screwball. McGraw gets his first strikeout. It brings up Bert Campaneris, who is 0 for 3. After Dick Green had walked with 1 man out in the 3rd, Green was thrown out at second, trying to move down to second on a wild pitch. Then Ken Holtzman doubled down the left field line. First pitch is taken for a ball. Bert Campaneris grounded the ball. The next pitch out to second base, a routine play, an easy ground ball. It went right through the legs of Felix Meon, and on the play, Oakland got their first run of the game. There's a screwball, a check swing, and I don't know whether it was called a ball or a strike. We'll have to check with the home plate umpire. Ball was down low. And throwing the ball back to Tug McGraw, the ball is thrown right in the sun. McGraw couldn't catch it. After the error by Meon, Campaneris stole second base. Actually was picked off, but got to second base on a bad throw by Matlack to first. It was credited as a stolen base, and he scored on a single by Joe Rudy to right field. Only 2 runs for the A's. Now a bunt out towards first base. Milner picks it up and makes the tag, and Campaneris is out, and Milner might be hurt. John Milner might have pulled a muscle. Don't know whether or not the play has been called another way by another umpire. Augie Donatelli, the first base umpire, called Campaneris out. The home plate umpire, Marty Springstead, came up and evidently called him safe. Yogi arguing with Marty Springstead, and we'll see how they have scored it. Evidently they have scored it that Campaneris is safe. Well, if it looked to me, Campaneris slid. But long before he got to first base, about 40 feet away, he slid under the tag of Milner, and I think what Sarah was saying was that he went out of the baseline. We're looking at on instant replay here, and according to us, he stayed in the baseline, and Milner missed him, and Campaneris got up and ran to first base. Milner stays in the game. Campaneris is off. So Campaneris is on first base, a chance to steal. 1 man out. The batter is Joe Rudy. Be scored as a base hit.
That's only the 4th.
First one off of Tug McGraw, and only because of the slide under Milner was Campaneris able to get up after sliding by Milner and get to first base for the base hit on the bunt. Milner apparently is all right. It looks as though he might have pulled a groin muscle. He's had that trouble before, but he is now up and holding against the runner at first base. McGraw has a good move to first. Campaneris with that big lead tosses over to first base. Campaneris back. Campaneris stole 34 bases in the regular season. Again a throw to first, a close play, and Campaneris has to slide back in.
Cappy just learned one thing, Ralph. McGraw does have a good move to first base.
Campaneris takes that tremendous lead. Many times he's caught going back to first base on the pitch to the plate. Now again, that big lead. McGraw fakes the throw to first base, and Campanera slides back in. Without stepping off the pitching rubber, which he has to do, or it would be a balk. Raw again setting up, but now waiting for Joe Rudy, who takes a long look at the signs from Herb Norn, the third base coach. Now Rudy gets into the batter's box, and time is back in. And the pitch by McGraw, and it's high a ball. And on the pitch, Campaneris was moving back to first base. 1 ball, no strike. Rudy has a single and a run batted in. He was robbed of a base hit in the first inning by Bud Harrelson's catch of his soft line drive out over second. He also tried to bunt his way on and was out. 1 for 3 in the game. Again, Campaneris with a big lead. He does not go. The pitch is swung on and fouled in the count. 1 ball and 1 strike. Campaneris made a move to go and then stopped. Evidently did not feel that he had a good enough jump. A's leading by a score of 2-1 as they bat in the bottom of the 8th inning. 1 man away. For the New York Mets in the 9th, it'll be Don Hahn to lead off, Bud Harrelson, the shortstop, and the pitcher to bat. Now bunt out in front of home plate, picked up by Grody. The throw to first base is in time for the out. Rudy trying to bunt his way on again, bunting for a base hit, but the bunt not out where it could be a safely placed bunt. Grody coming out from behind his catcher's position had an easy play at first, but on the play, Campaneris goes down to second. That could be scored a sacrifice. 2 men away, a runner in scoring position, and Sal Bando coming up. Now Yogi Berra out to the mound. They're going to discuss whether or not they want to pitch to the right-hand batter, Sal Bando, or the left-hand batter, Reggie Jackson, who is on deck. Many times in this situation, Yogi Berra will leave it up to the pitcher, going with his preference. Now the decision has been made. Yogi back to the bench, and will be in a position to know what they have decided in just a moment. It looks as though they're going to fix the Sal. They're going to put Sal Bando on. Sal Bando is going to be walked intentionally, and the Mets will work against Reggie Jackson, a left-hander against the left-hand batter. Pitch outside for ball 2. Draws next pitch, ball 3. And ball 4. And runners now at first and second with 2 men away, and Reggie Jackson coming up. He is 0 for 2 in this game. He also has walked. A's have had 4 hits and 3 walks. They've had 8 base runners with an error also tossed in for the runner to get on base. The Mets have had 7 base hits and 3 walks. They've had 10 base runners in the game. A's leading 2-1. Now McGraw to the set position. And his first pitch to Jackson. It is a curveball hit on the ground to Meehan at second base. He fields it, throws to first base, and the side is retired. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, a walk, 2 men left. And the score at the end of 7 1/2 innings, it's Oakland 2, the Mets 1. And we have a fan on the field. Holding up his fist for victory. Now 1, 2, 3, 4 security guards. He held out his wrist as though, okay, slap the cuffs on me. I've done what I want to do. And they're taking him off the field. Strictly nonviolent. Ed Kranepool will lead off tonight. This is the original Met as a 17-year-old, the last of the original Mets. How about that? A major league at age 17, and here he is 12 years later, still in the big leagues with the Mets. Kranepool, Harrelson, and then another pinch hitter in the 9th inning. And they talked about the amazing Mets of 1969 where the miracle happened in New York. And the miracle happened in New York again this year for the Mets to get here. And the Mets may yet win the World Series, may yet win this game. But it is an error by their usually reliable Meehan, who only committed 9 all year long, that allowed both of the Oakland runs. And in the 7th inning, after Boswell laced a single to get on with none out, Garrett and Meehan hit tremendous line drive smashes that were turned into a double play and the concluding out.
And as we've said, only once have they not had men on base. But thus far, as we begin the night, thus far, not been the Mets' day of the miracle. Here's Ralph.
Okay, Jim, and Ed Cranepool had a World Series home run in 69, stepped up. In the fifth game of the playoff game, he had to play in place of Rusty Staub, and he singled in 2 important runs. Cranepool, a left-hand batter. On the mound, Raleigh Fingers. He came into the game back in the 6th inning. He has given up 3 hits, and there's a line shot right at Campaneris at shortstop. 4 out. Another line drive and another out. 1 away, it brings up Bud Harrelson. Bud has been called back, and Ron Hodges is going to pinch hit for him. Ron Hodges, one of the 3 catchers on the New York Met Ball Club, had a big base hit against the Pittsburgh Pirates when he tied up a ball game in the top of the 9th inning when the Mets drove in 5 runs to defeat Pittsburgh in an all-important game. It saw them then go on to win 3 more, 4 straight against the Pirates after losing the first game of 5 consecutive games.
On the bench before the game, Ralph, they were talking as, hey, Rusty Staub is out on deck, who did not play today. On the game, the bench before the game, they were talking about Ron Hodges. Here comes Weststock out now, and Dick Williams said, no, he is not on the roster. And I think it was you who said, oh, yes, he is. And so Williams said, well, to his coach Bernhardt, I'd better put him down on the book. And they got out the scouting report on Hodges. And now apparently Williams has told Stock, his pitching coach, and Stock has gone out to say what it is they've got in the book on Ron Hodges. So, with 1 out in a 2-1 ball game in the 9th inning, Cranepool with that line shot to Campaneris, Hodges will come on, and Rusty Staub, who just batting practice today and then ruled himself out of the game, will come up and swing as the 3rd man in this 9th inning.
Speaking about the New York Mets, they lost the first game of the championship playoff to the Cincinnati Reds by the score of 2-1. With Seaver striking out 13 and losing to 2 home runs, one by Pete Rose and one by John Bench. Right here, the score 2-1. 1 man out, 9th inning. Ron Hodges, a left-hand batter. He's being played straight away. Brought up from Memphis. And the first pitch to Hodges, a fastball. It's inside and low, and it's ball 1. Hodges in the regular season batted .260. He was up 127 times, had 33 base hits. Next pitch back is too low, and it's 2 balls and no strikes. He had 1 home run, drove in 18.
Well, the book must be keep it low because both of those pitches have been way down.
Now we'll see what the 2-0 pitch is like. It's a fastball. It's down around the knees over the outside corner, 2-1. Ron Hodges is not a son or a relative of Gil Hodges. The 2-1 pitch. Way inside and low on the count now, 3 balls and 1 strike. The late Gil Hodges did have a son, Gilly, who was a catcher in the Met organization. He no longer is playing professional baseball. 3 balls, 1 strike. Mets have 2 men left. 2 outs left in this ball game. They need a run to tie, 2 to go ahead. Next pitch is low, and Hodges walks. And the Mets now have the tying run at first base with Rusty Staub coming up. Rusty Staub as a pinch hitter for the pitcher, Tug McGraw. And Ted Martinez is going to run for Ron Hodges. Utility infielder Ted Martinez.
Aussie was looking into the dugout to see whether or not Dick Williams was going to come out and replace Raleigh Fingers, but the 3 home runs that Staub hit, 1 in the 2nd game of the playoffs and 2 in the first 2 innings of the 3rd game of the playoffs, were all hit against left-handed pitchers. So even though Fingers is a right-handed pitcher, Staub's a left-hander. Now out comes Dick Williams. They may not go, but I think Williams is going to make a change. Let's see.
The 2nd man out, so he'll have to take him out of the ballgame once he crosses that foul line because Wes Stock, the pitching coach, was out before in this inning. Darrell Knowles, the left-hander, is throwing in the bullpen for Oakland, and he is going to come in the ballgame. Now, the Mets have seen Darrell Knowles. He worked for the Philadelphia Phillies in the National League.
Well, Staub is walking back. We pointed out the fact is he gets a This is a hand for Riley Fingers walking off now. Staub is walking back. He may yet bat, but we pointed out that he did very well. And Yogi Berra is now talking to him, so apparently Staub is going to stay in.
The Mets have, pardon me, Jim, is going to say the Mets have a strong right-handed pinch hitter, Jim Beecham, available.
46,021. The A's, thank you.
Staub still standing on the upper steps, and now that's going to be all for Rusty as they talk to him, and out comes the man that Ralph was talking about, Jim Beecham, to the on-deck circle. Darrell Knowles comes up, 1 out, inning, 2-1 the score leads it. Hodges, the second pinch hitter, is on with a walk. After Cranepool, the first pinch hitter, line sharp to the Campaneris at shortstop. Staub looks at the hit. Knowles came in. Staub goes out. And Knowles will be pitching to Jim Beecham.
The game continues at the beginning of side 4 after a 2-minute delay.
The Cranepool, the first pinch hitter, line sharp to the Campaneris at shortstop. Staub looks at the hit. Knowles came in. Staub goes out. And Knowles will be pitching to Jim Beecham.
Beecham, over the season, batted at 279. He was up 61 times. He had 17 base hits. He was used mainly as a pinch hitter. No home runs, but he has home run power. Drove in 14 runs.
And for Darrell Knowles, their ace left-hander in the bullpen, this will be his first postseason appearance of the year. He was not used at all in the playoffs. And remember, a year ago in the World Series, he was hurt. But Darrell Knowles, former Philadelphia Philly, former Washington Senator, out of pitch for Beecham with 1 out, tying run on at first, 9th inning. Here's Rob.
Knowles with a record of 6-8 in the season at a 3.09 earned run average. He was in 99 innings. Throws a sinking type fastball, has good motion, very turkey jerk type pitching motion. Difficult for the batter to time the rhythm of his pitching. Beecham, a big, strong right-hand batter, being played straight away by Oakland in the first pitch. Beecham takes it at the knees, it's all strike. Knowles had 40 strikeouts in his 99 innings. 1 strike count. And the pitch. Beecham takes it inside. It's 1-1. The attendance here today, 46,021. It is not a full house. 46,021. One ball, 1 strike. Throw to first base. Martinez is back. Mets with the tying run at first base. 1 man out. We're in the 9th inning. 1 ball, 1 strike down to Jim Beecham, and here's the pitch. Beecham lines it into center field, and it is caught by the second baseman Green on a great jumping backhand catch in the shallow center. And listen to this crowd. Another spectacular play turned in by the A's. Green second in this ballgame. He turned a double play ball over in the 7th. Again on a smash. Now this play against Beecham on a humpback line drive that was headed for center field. He backhanded the ball going out toward the outfield. That brings up Wayne Garrett. Wayne is 0 for 4 in this game. That's down to their last out. A's leading 2-1. Martinez getting back to first base after the catch. Now Garrett, a left-hand batter against the left-hander Darrell Knowles. Knowles sets up time call, and we have another man out on the field, out in center field, and he is being royally booed by the fans here as play is being held up. Play being held up here, and the fan has finally been apprehended. He's being led off the field by 2 uniformed men here. Knowles takes some more warm-up pitches while the delay goes on. Now Garrett stepping up to the batter's box, and play will be resumed. the signs, has them, goes to the set position. Here's the pitch to Garrett. It's hit deep into the stands, foul on the first base side. So the count will be strike one as Martinez goes back to first base. Key play of the ball game back in the fourth inning with Milner on second base and one man out. Brody drove one to deep left center field, and Reggie Jackson made a great running catch to save a run and possibly more. Out one strike. The pitch to Garrett is hit in the air to right. Should be the ball game. Moving up is Jesus Lou, and catch is made by Reggie Jackson, and the A's have won the ball game. The first game of this. That's 4 out of 7 by a score of 2-1.